Helping young adults to follow the COVID-19 advice. Top tips. Government research suggests that young adult men, 18 to 24-year-olds, are the least likely to remember or to intend to act on advice that can help stop the spread of COVID-19. We know that people in this age group are still maturing in important ways that can affect behaviour and decision-making, and that this is more likely to be an issue among those who have suffered difficult experiences or come from troubled backgrounds. The Behavioural Insights team have been running trials to establish the effectiveness of communications about the government's advice on how to limit the spread of COVID-19. An analysis combining the results of these trials found that young men and women, those 18 to 24 years old, were the worst at recalling the advice and the least likely to say that they intended to follow the advice on hand washing, self-isolation and social distancing. This was most exaggerated among young adult men. Initially, they thought this might be related to a lack of worry about the coronavirus among younger people. But further analysis suggested that this group was similarly anxious about COVID-19 and its impact. Instead, the Behavioural Insights team suggests that the format of the guidance, which was all long form, may have been less engaging for this group, and that it could be a result, at least in part, of overconfidence, an assumption that they knew and understood the advice and didn't need to read it fully. There are a number of reasons that people fail to follow advice that could improve or maintain their health. Some of these are linked to biases in our thinking, which are common to us all. However, we would expect people up to the age of around 25, who are still maturing psychologically and socially, to face an extra set of challenges that can help to explain why younger people are those least likely to follow the government advice. Young adults are less likely to engage with their futures and their future selves than are older adults, and this is even more pronounced among young adults convicted of crime. They're more disposed to making decisions based on the here and now. Younger adults are still developing their ability to consider the wider context in which their decisions are made, and to take into account other people's perspectives. Younger adults are more likely to act on impulse and tend to take more risks than older adults. These are more likely to be an issue among those who have suffered difficult experiences or come from troubled backgrounds, which can have an impact on psychosocial maturity. What can we do to make it more likely that younger adults will follow the COVID-19 advice? We can link it to identity. We act in ways that make us feel better about ourselves. So tying the behaviour to something that speaks to people's values and helps them be who they want to be can motivate people to engage in that behaviour. For young men, for example, this could mean that we link the act of following the advice to being a good father, son, friend or similar, or to doing their bit to help everyone get visits or family contact sooner. We can make it clear that following the guidance helps protect themselves and others, help link the behaviour to their values and what's important to them. We can make it easy, reduce any friction. Because younger adults can be more impulsive and more likely to make decisions based on the here and now than older adults, we need to make it as easy as possible to follow the guidance and help to identify and remove any obstacles. For example, we can mark out where to stand to maintain 2 meters physical distance from others. We can make sure everyone has what they need to do hand washing. We can use the term physical rather than social distancing. We can make the guidance simple and clear. Model the guidance, show what it looks like, and be consistent. We can be procedurally just. Because the tendency to actively react against what we're being told to do, the Romeo and Juliet effect, is particularly strong among young people, we need to make sure we use procedural justice principles to encourage people to follow the advice, making sure we clearly explain why it's important, both to the individual, their loved ones, and the wider community. Use language that feels respectful. Explain that this applies to everyone, Ask for feedback on how to make it easier to follow the guidance. And give space to ask questions. We can make it social. Peer influence is particularly strong among young adults, so we need to draw attention to examples of peers that are following the guidance. Use peers they respect to deliver messages about what to do to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. The credibility of the messenger is important. And stress that most people are doing the right thing and protecting themselves and others. We can reward compliance. Finally, reinforcing the behaviour we want to see is more effective than punishing behaviour we don't want to see. This is especially true for young people, so we need to make sure we are catching good, recognising and praising compliance with the government advice. Top tips for communicating with young adults about COVID-19 advice. 1. Link it to identity. 2. Make it easy to follow the advice. 3. Make it procedurally just. There are 4 principles of procedural justice. Demonstrate trustworthy motives, respect, neutrality, and give people a voice. 4. Make it social. And 5. Reward compliance. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to find out more, please contact us at evidence@justice.gov.uk.